Here we are for week 8 in the Six Sigma Road League, driving the LMP3s. Drivers are going to be taking on Barber Motorsports Park this week. It looks tough out there. There's a few corners that look absolutely horrifying in this car. Looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a thinner field tonight with, I believe, 18 participants. I think this is our first night with at least under 20 for sure. It's kind of a less known track, not used that often. I wouldn't be surprised if some people just didn't have it. The drivers are out qualifying now. Should be just about to finish up their first official laps. As I said, we're at Motorsports Park. It's pretty nice out there. 69 nice. Yep, it's definitely nice out there. Track temp's only 80, which is pretty cool. Yeah, other than that, it's looking pretty nice. Let's hop over to stats. So far, times are just coming in now. Richard Hibbs comes in with a 1:18.5. I believe the fastest time in practice was a really low 1:17. Drivers are definitely going to be hitting, if that continues, drivers are definitely going to be hitting 1:16s tonight, while towards the end of the stint getting low on fuel. Right now we're watching Brandon Dooley go around, currently on his second lap. Let's, is there somebody that just started a lap? Let's see if I can find somebody to... Well, Brandon's about to complete this. We can ride along with him. Show you what this track looks like from inside the car. Maybe, if I can find the button. There it is. A lot of elevation changes. Oh, Skyler takes the lead away from Richard Hibbs. It's a hard braking zone down into this hairpin. Back on the throttle. Kind of a long straight. And once you get here, it gets a little interesting. The weird little S section straight into a hairpin that's all downhill, relieving the tires of any extra grip that they had in a braking zone, which you know is always great. Oh, I hope he didn't 1X there. Another light load as you're trying to turn there, going over the hill. Come around here, kind of decreasing radius corner. Then back onto the straight. I got in a little late. We missed one of the scary turns. Skyler's just starting his. Let's have a ride along with Skyler. Looks like we got Tiago up there in third. It's a pretty good position for Tiago. Morgan's in fourth and is done. I guess he only had one lap count. Kind of looks like they're trying to flip off the camera when he does a shift there with the steering wheel up. So Skyler's coming around. Oh, Richard Hibbs takes the spot back from him. I just noticed. Let's see what Skyler can do on this lap. Coming to the finish line now. Doesn't quite improve. Very close lap time, but runs an 18.40. So he's going to hang on to second. Get the... Oh wait, the grid's not going to be up there yet because it's not hadn't changed session. Who else is still out there? Nathan's still driving around. He's already completed his laps though. Georgie, we could watch Georgie go around. He has 1 lap under his belt so far in quali. We still have 7.5 minutes left of qualifying. Still seeing a few drivers have only done 1 or 2 laps. Wondering if they got 1X's on their laps. Yes, it looks like they did. So some drivers only have 1 or 2 laps that counted. Which means some of course, they're all real fast that are up there towards the top, but some of the real top contenders didn't have the best qualifying. We could see some pretty awesome battles possibly in the sprint race of them trying to make up some positions. Georgie comes across the line, putting himself in 10th with a 1:19.74. So nobody in the 1:17s during qualifying. Not sure how light people got on fuel in practice, but there were definitely a few 1:17s. Georgie's going to be finishing up his last lap here. Yeah, folks completes the lap, popping up into 13th with 1:22. 1:20.2, I should say. Georgie's going to be going in. We can have a watch Jeff. He's the only one that's still on a live quali lap, on his last lap currently. Jeff has been coming up through the amateur ranks this season. See if he can get in a slightly better time here. Oh, big lockup. Well, that lap will not count as that's going to be an incident point. That is a terrifying corner. I'm glad I'm not racing here tonight. All right, well, everybody's done. We still have 5 minutes left. Not sure what else to cover. It's a pretty quick lap here. Nobody else is driving. We can go to Scenic and see the lovely Barber Motorsports Spider sitting there. When these guys get lined up, we will hop into the sim and give them a little pep talk before the race. So far, we had a total of 37 incident points in quali. And considering you want to get 0, that's an average of what, like 2 per car? Just goes to show how tough this track is in this car. Wish I had some commercials to play so I could say a word from our sponsors while we wait for the race to start. Could say a word from our sponsor, Six Sigma, and open up the website, I suppose. I don't have any fancy commercials or anything to show. Two minutes to go. One minute before we start our 15-minute feature. Then after that, we have a 10-minute warm-up where everybody can take a little break. And when we come back to our 45-minute feature after that. Not sure if they have a full pace lap here. Got a couple fairly long straights. Surely they can line up on those. Also don't remember what pace vehicle we set for tonight. All right, session's going to be switching over. Somebody clicked on here. You pop up the grid, and I'm going to go give them a pep talk. All right, we know how it goes by now. Take it easy on this first lap. We have a little less of a field tonight, so I'm hoping that will help with as scary as the track looks in a couple spots. But yeah, have fun out there. Don't go too hard in the first lap, and we'll see you on the other side.
Lauren, Brian, I love that you hope, and it's going to be a great, great time.
Send it.
So, starting on row 1, we have Richard Hibbs and Skylar Raven. In row 2, Tiago sitting in 3rd. Just hope all drivers have fun. Well, fun's mandatory, so it's too bad. And a P4 next to him, we got Morgan. In row 3, Sean Ryan. Oh, this is a full pace lap. I should wait till they're all loaded in and going. We got a whole lap to do the grid rundown. I just noticed that Barney's sitting there. Oh, and they're underway. So where was I? Row 3, we got Sean Ryan, Coy McGrath. Row 4, Brandon Dooley, Mark Rondeau being our highest amateur. Also leading the amateur points. In row 5, we have Daryl Klotz. Why is that always so hard for me? And Georgie in P10. Row 6, Nathan Mishler and Ken Chrisman. There's my button. And then last row we got Shea and Kenny McGrath. So just 7 rows tonight. As they come around, green is on the leader, so they don't have to wait for Barney to start waving the flag. As soon as the pace car is off and it's ready to go, the leader can start whenever they want to start. Could almost take a look at the points. Let's get the map up here. Oh, we're only halfway through the lap. We could definitely look at some points real quick. This will be a little clustered, but so we got Richard Hibbs sitting on top with a somewhat comfy lead. Brandon Dooley and Skylar Rabin right behind him. Declan sneaking up there, who's not here tonight, but people do have a couple drop weeks for the 9-week season. Then past that, we mostly have some drivers who have missed a race or two already, so their points are a little lower than they should be, as next week it'll start, or actually after the result of this session comes out, 1 week will be dropped and those points will start to even out. Then at the end of next week, we'll have the 2 drop weeks calculated in and everybody will be evened out. Oh, and they're underway! I forgot how early the pace car gets off there. We got Richard Hibbs taking a gap with the lead there. Gonna watch everybody as they filter through. Got some nice 2-wide action. Everybody nice and clean through the start. Gonna get the music turned off here. Almost forgot. We're watching kind of through the field as they come by. Everybody's already pretty well filtered out. Got Nathan side by side with Daryl. Get in line as they go through there. I wish I knew the names of the corners. That one is I have bad memories in a Skip Barber there. So far, the top 3 are pretty well evened out. And there's a little bit of a gap back to Sean. Everybody behind him is somewhat split up. This may be kind of a straightforward race tonight, but I expect some upsets to happen, as this track looks very unforgiving in an already unforgiving car. Skylar gaining a little bit on Richard Hibbs there. Sitting in a pretty good spot. Richard with a little bit of a lockup. Sean Ryan is closing up that gap, I believe. Yes, he is. He's closed up about a half second in that gap so far. Well, Sean might be joining this lead pack soon. A little further back here, Andrew Storzum catching up to Nathan. Nathan is currently two and a half seconds back from Mark Rondeau. So Nathan's the second amateur. And currently Ken is the third amateur, sitting in ninth. Just about 7/10 behind Nathan. We don't have anybody too crazy close. Richard kind of starting to open up a gap a little bit there in the lead. But also Morgan's a little bit more off of Skyler. Oh, makes up a bunch in that braking zone. And now Sean has pretty well joined the pack. They seem to be kind of taking off from Brandon. There's those 117s already coming in there. With Sean taking the fastest one so far, the 117.8. I definitely believe we should see some 116s by the end of the race. We don't give any points for fastest lap. I don't know if maybe we should, but I kind of feel like that's the rich getting richer. There's the spider in the background. Get some nice views of the spider. Five minutes in so far. We don't have a whole lot going on. Morgan seems to be working on Skyler. I think he's gaining more than he's losing. He's kind of an accordion in and out, but seems to be gaining more than he's losing now. Leaving Sean behind a little bit, but I'm sure, especially if they won't be long before Sean's there, and especially if they're fighting, Sean will be there in a heartbeat. Morgan setting the fastest lap that lap with a 79. Oh, it looks like Andrew crashed. Let's have a quick look at that. Stores him, I should say. Oh, it's got a lock up around the corner. I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight. I know a lot of these guys are not wanting Richard to be first right now, since he's leading in the points this season. They have some points to make up, and Richard being first is definitely not going to help them. Richard Hibbs just kind of steady holding on to that gap. Morgan's still right there with Skyler. If they get to fighting, it'd be real interesting to see what Sean can do in this mix. Although also if they get to fighting, Richard's really just going to start running away. And I don't know that they'll be able to catch him. Skyler throwing in the fastest lap with the 75. Further back, we got Ken Chrisman, Coy McGrath, and Nathan Mishler in their own little group. Oh, looks like Ken went a little wide there. Coy McGrath was able to sneak around. And of course, we are a little light on the field tonight. Light on the pro side for sure. A lot of amateurs here tonight. Currently, our highest amateur is Mark Rondeau, sitting in 6th. All the other amateurs aren't going to like seeing that. He's going to get a ton of points tonight if that holds out. He already has a pretty big lead in the points. But we'll see as some of the amateurs have missed races as well. So the next 2 weeks, we'll see how it starts to even out. Back and check on the leaders here. Skyler's kind of reeled Rich in a little bit. He's hanging more around that half-second, 0.5 to 0.7 mark instead of the kind of 8 to 1 second. Morgan's got about the same gap between him and Skyler, and then Sean's not far behind that. They have really dropped off from everyone else. Brandon Dooley sitting 11.5 seconds back from them. Mark Rondeau not far behind Brandon and pretty well holding the gap. If Mark keeps this up, we might have to throw him in the pros next season. Oh, we got Morgan right on the back of Skyler there. Morgan just throwing in the fastest lap at a 17.5. We're coming down to 4 minutes left. See if Morgan can make a move here. Oh, further back we have a little pack. Ken Chrisman leading Jeff Oakes. Going on the outside, or sorry, inside. Corner goes the other way there, dummy. Jeff Oakes going to sneak through along with Andrew Storzum. That's going to put Jeff Oakes in 3rd for the amateurs. Oh, and Skyler, I believe, locked up. He went wide. Morgan gets around. Looks like Sean's going to make it around as well. Let's get a replay. That's not a great replay. Can we get a better replay, please? SDK says no. So that's going to shift Morgan and Sean up into 2nd and 3rd. Morgan's going to like that extra point. Every position is worth 1 more point than the next in the sprint race. And then when we go to the feature, that doubles. For the most part, seems to keep the points nice and close. We got a couple minutes left. The leader is coming around now, so are we looking at 2 more laps? We'll be done with this lap. Yeah, should be 2 more laps. Yep, Barney's not waving the flag there. We got 2 to go with Richard Hibbs in the lead. Sean Ryan throwing in the fastest lap so far with the 52. It's going to be all hands on deck trying to catch Morgan. I don't think he has enough time to do it. Further back, everybody else is pretty well spread out. Oh, we got some people going off track. The gaps back there are real wide. Morgan's a little lock up there. I've noticed a lot of cars locking up over that, coming off that hill into the braking. Car gets light, of course, then. Real easy to happen. I feel like front end lockups are just standard in this car, too. Oh! Somebody's off in the wall. I believe that was Rashana? Wait, that wasn't Tiago, was it? No, that wasn't Tiago. What happened to Tiago? Oh no, it says he crashed. Oh, there he is. Oh, I just had a little lockup and continues. Sean is knocking on Morgan's back door. We're coming around. This is the last lap. Richard Hibbs is kind of running away at this point. But Morgan's going to be focused on defending from Sean. Come down in the tricky little S section into the hairpin. Sean makes a little bit of time up there. Can he get the exit? It goes a little wide, holds on to it. Not going to be the best exit, though. Morgan's going to take a little bit of a gap. Skyler just putting in the hottest lap of a 17.27. I think that mistake is going to let Morgan get away with it. Richard Hibbs coming down into the last corner. Richard Hibbs is going to take the sprint race win, with Morgan coming in second. Sean coming in third. Skyler coming around for fourth place. Brandon Dooley's going to round out the top 5. Mark Rondeau taking 6th. It's the highest amateur with Tiago. I'm not really sure what happened to Tiago. I was watching all the cars filtering through and kind of missed him come back. He dropped a few positions.
122s in 40 minutes to live.
Boy's going to take 8th. Ken Chrisman in 9th. Nathan Mishler rounds out our top 10.
Excellent. A good race.
And the top 3 of the amateurs.
Yeah, likewise.
And there's the infamous Barney waving the flag. He can wave that thing all day. Let's go. Oh, my camera messing with me there. Jay's crossing the line. I think everybody's done. Yeah, everybody's done. All right, so we're heading into our 10-minute warm-up where drivers take a break. And I as well take a break. Go find me a little snack. Gotta reward myself, right? And I'll turn up the put the camera on exciting. We'll have to wait for a car to get out though. Oh, there we go. Put the camera on exciting. We'll let that play and be back in 10 minutes. And we are back. The results off the screen here. We'll give them another pep talk. Great sprint race, guys. Super clean. Let's do it again. Let's track map back up there. Another full pace lap. Field's underway. Being led by the mighty iRacing Mustang. Not the pace car, but the one you drive, Mustang, best car on the service. As they're going around, I suppose we could show the grid real quick, even though really should know it because that's how they finished. We don't flop the field around or do anything. Mark Rondeau is going to be starting up there in 6th, seeing if he can hold on to this for the feature. He's going to be scoring some big points tonight, and really just gapping that lead he has in the AMs. Richard Hibbs. We got Morgan, you know, snuck up to 2nd there with Sean in 3rd after Skyler had that little mistake, put him back in 4th. Thankfully, this mistake wasn't too bad. He was able to hold on to the position there. Brandon Dooley starting in 5th. Already mentioned Mark starting 6th as the highest amateur. Then Tiago moving back a little bit down to 7th. Coy McGrath in 8th. As they get ready to go here, let's get back to them. Music down as the pace car's about to come off the track. Have a look at the leader. Well, currently not the leader, but that's just because all the positions are swapping. There we go. The blimp. Oh, here we go. Pace car's in. So he comes around. There he goes. Richard Hibbs kind of sneaking off out of that corner. Getting a great start there. Got a bunch of side-by-side action. Sean's going to sneak up into 2nd. Morgan goes wide. We got to watch the rest of the field here. Make sure we don't have a big pile up or anything. Everybody looks good. Morgan able to slot back in right behind Sean. I'll watch the field as they come through the hairpin here. Oh, a little bit of back up, but everybody is together. I'm betting Morgan's kicking himself right now. Having that little mistake letting Sean around. Skyler right on the back of Morgan. We could see... We'll see if Richard is able to run away from the field like he did. I mean, I didn't know that he really ran away, but he was able to hold that lead. Nobody could really catch him. We'll see if he'll be able to do that again this session. But behind him, if they can't get to him, Sean and Morgan and Skyler, I wouldn't be surprised to see some really good battles between all of them. Brandon Dooley hanging on right behind Skyler so far. Mark Rondeau still behind him, holding on to that 6th spot. Looks like Tiago missed out on a position to Coy as they have swapped. Further back, we got Jeff Oakes and Ken Crispin side by side. Jeff's going to have the inside of the corner. Going to take it while Darrell tries to sneak up there as well. Looks like Ken's going to hold on to it. He had that happen in the sprint race, but not this time. Got a nice train of cars right here. Andrew Storsum trying to get around. Everybody going out a little bit wide. The tough exit to stay in bounds there to maximize. These guys are really close together. Kenny McGrath looking to the inside of Andrew. Oh, goes a little wide, but not far enough that it affects anything. A little split out there. Looks like Kenny lost a little bit of time. Andrew's right on the back of Darrell. Gonna put his nose out there. Going on the inside. Makes it around as Darrell has a little bit of a lockup. Gonna set his sights on Ken Chrisman now. Leaders are still doing what they're doing. Continue to watch here as we have some decent action going on. Well, looks like they're starting to split up a little bit now. Oh, Andrew making up a little bit of time on Ken here. Andrew and Ken kind of swapped back and forth a little bit in the previous race. I think Ken had got around and then made a mistake and then got behind again and had to go back around again. Ken's going to go ahead and take him here. Or sorry, Andrew's going to take Ken here. Oops. Misclick there. Watch it. Darrell try to get around Ken now. Down to that scary section there. Everybody holding on nicely, no lockups. Five minutes in. Everybody's getting kind of settled and in their places. Oh, here comes Kenny McGrath. Oh, going up the inside. He's going to make it around. Darrell was almost able to strike back in that next corner. See if Kenny can hold on to this. Oh, Kenny with the big slide. Keeps it straight, though. Comes back on track. Gets going again. Great recovery. Looks like Jeff Oakes is now being chased down by Andrew Storsum. See if Andrew can get around here. He's been moving up through the field pretty well. Currently up two positions from where he started. I think we've seen him pass 3 people already. Oh, we just missed Tiago fighting Mark Rondeau, and now Coy McGrath gets around as well. Let's check out the Tiago pass. Oh, just kind of snuck up the inside there on that final corner. Oh, that pushed Mark out wide, which is how Coy got around as well. So Mark now down 2 positions, but still holding on to that amateur lead with over a second behind him to Nathan. Nathan in striking distance here if he can catch him. Go back and have a look at our leaders here. Richard Hibbs is currently about a second out from Sean. Just kind of holding on. Has the fastest lap of the race so far with a 17.76. Sean, Morgan, and Skyler all pretty close together. Skyler really catching up to Morgan here. Sean's had a little bit of bad luck this season, holding on to a position. Hopefully he can hold on to it this feature. Field's starting to get a little bit spread out already. Leader's the closest thing we have here. Skyler just put in the fastest lap last lap. Over. I just noticed our map disappeared again. There we go. Oh, it looks like was Jeff catching? Yeah, Jeff was catching up to Andrew, I believe, there. Not sure if Jeff was starting to go a little faster, if Andrew had a little bit of a slip. It's about a second between their fastest times. Andrew's starting to open up the gap again. Oh, Morgan caught up to Sean. And Skyler's still there. This is about to get interesting. Morgan just getting some extra heat out of nowhere, it seems like. Still plenty of race to go. The only points you get is where you finish. Since they're already up at the front, there's no real rush to get around. Be a little difficult for them to keep up with Richard Hibbs if they all start fighting, though. So Richard's going to run away from them. Nice tight little group here, though. We also have Tiago right behind Brandon. Tiago's up a position, getting one of them back since the start of the race, since losing 4 in the sprint race, I believe. So he's getting some of that back now. Oh, almost sneaking around Brandon there. Almost had that nose in. Oh, he sure did have a quick qualifying time. But a lot of people did also have incident points that made their quali laps not count, so I'm not sure exactly You know, if that really means anything. But Tiago definitely looking pretty good here tonight. As it sounds like he does a 50-50 grind around that banking there. Go back up to the leaders. They're still pretty well close together. Looks like we also have the clouds out, as everything's a little dim. Oh, they're really bunching up there. They've kind of really caught up to Richard here. Richard started to run away, but as they've been going, Sean's been slowly gaining on him. There's a big leap right there. Dropping that distance down even more. See if they can really start putting the pressure onto Richard here. It seems to be a great sector for Sean. He just really gained on Rich and kind of dropped Morgan behind him. It's always great seeing a lead pack like this. Nice, decent-sized pack, all running with each other. We have some great racing that goes on in this league. Nice, clean, hard racing. Also helps that a lot of the drivers know each other. So it's nice, friendly, hard racing. Everybody's just kind of holding on to their positions. Go back and have a look at Tiago again. Behind Brandon Dooley here. Gap's opened up a little bit. Oh, Sean just threw in the fastest lap at a 17.59. Tiago keeping this gap pretty steady so far. Oh! How did I miss that? Oh, Coy went off track. Have a replay of that. And Marc Rondeau got back around. Back up to 7th. Oh, he had a lockup. Forced the car out wide. Marc just sneaks right through. Great opportunistic move by Marc there. Oh, Tiago is caught Brandon once again. Getting all my positions confused. Now they're going to open it up a little. Skyler moving that needle, bringing the fastest lap down to a 17.548. Oh, what happened? Wait. Oh, never mind. I was looking at the wrong numbers. I thought Skyler had dropped off there for a second. This top pack of 4 cars is even closer together now. Looks like we also had Daryl pass Ken Chrisman to take the third amateur spot. Back in 11th. Richard still holding on to that lead. About the same gap as we saw last time. I'm not sure if they're really trying super hard to get to him or not. He's been running pretty fast, consistent laps, though. Definitely the most consistent with his last 2 laps, only being 0.05 apart from each other. Sean really catching up there with a little bit of a lockup. Let's have a little ride along with Skylar. Get a feel for this track here. So, perfect timing, just starting a lap right here. Very first corner starts off with light on the tires going over the crest of a hill into a turn. Just a great start to a lap there. And a big hill climb. Lots of elevation changes here. Another hill crest. It's smooth, but a hill crest in braking zone. Down through the hairpin. A little bit of a climb again. And then we're going to come over here in this weird S and brake into a crest again. Getting the car light on the tires. So we're 3 for 3. Start a bit of a climb here, and there's 4 for 4 going over a crest into a braking zone. And then we got this climb in this decreasing radius corner. Back to the left, and that's a lap, just as fast as that. Richard Hibbs putting in a 17.38. Wait a second. It says Sean's a 17.30, but not the fastest. Oh, I wonder if he had an incident point. No? I'm guessing they were so close together that SDK didn't show it right. Because, yeah, actually, Sean has the fastest lap at a 17.299. Just getting under those 3s. They're inching down there. 20 minutes on the clock so far. Getting close to that halfway mark. It's about time for people to start coming in for pits. That seems to usually happen around 20, 23, 25, somewhere in there. Pit's always an exciting time. They can really shake up the field. All of our leaders putting in a 17 that lap. Look how close those times are. 31, a 38, a 38, and a 41. It's wild to me how close all these guys are on their skill level in this car. Makes for some great racing up here. Sean kind of catching Richard there. I'd be interested to see if any of these 3 cars behind Richard drop into the pits early to try and undercut. Oh, we got somebody, is that Ryan Phillips, I think, coming out of the pits? I haven't caught any lap traffic yet. Coy's still riding behind Mark Rondeau. Pretty well at his back door, though. See if he can sneak in there. Oh! Almost touches him. Goes out wide, getting away from Mark's car. Gonna have to remake up that gap there. Back up to the leaders here. Skyler has dropped off a little bit. Wonder what happened there. A little bit of a mistake, maybe. Oh, Sean putting in a 17.007. About to see a 16 already. Hopefully Skyler can catch up, make up this time he lost. Skyler's very quick in practice and also qualifying. Oh, well, he's definitely caught up. Did Morgan fall off a little bit? I don't think he did. I'm not sure what happened there. Also, Richard suddenly running away from the pack. Over a second out now. Nobody's pit yet. We're pretty much right at that standard pit time now. I wonder if they're going to wait for Richard to go in. Oh, they're kind of stacking up there. Not sure what has happened, but Sean's lost a little bit of speed for some reason. Maybe just a bad lap there. I think he's picking it back up now. Got Andrew Storzum and Ken Chrisman coming into the pits. Nobody else really going in. They'll really get bunched up into that hairpin. Oh, Mark Rondeau's coming down the pits. Leading amateur. Go down to find his pit box to get some fuel. Nathan Mishler also coming in. Which is going to let Darrell around. Darrell's going to be the leading amateur for now until he pits. Leaders still all close up here, although Richard Hibbs is just suddenly gapping him. Almost 2 seconds out now. And where's Skyler came in. Skyler finally said, I've had enough. I'm going in. Maybe looking to undercut a little bit here, get out with some clean air, and put some lap times in. Got Brandon Dooley coming down pit road as well. Change the camera here. And Coy McGrath. Looks like we might be getting everyone coming in this lap. Looks like Skyler's getting some tires. The car up off the ground. He is away. 46-second, just over 46-second pit lane time, which is one of the best ones I'm seeing so far. Pretty good pit stop there. Go back up to the leaders here. Where are we? We're about to come around to the pits. Richard's staying out again. Oh, Sean's staying out. Morgan finally says, I've had enough now. I'm going to go in. Be interested to see where... Oh, and Richard just puts in a 17 flat. 17.003. Car's definitely feeling good for him. Morgan is stopped. Looks like he's not changing any tires, just getting fuel. Where's Skyler at? It's coming down the straight now. Morgan is underway, out on track. Morgan making a big gap to Skyler there, having a 2 second faster, just over 2 seconds total in pit lane time. Faster than Skyler. Where's Richard at? He's about to complete the lap. Let's see if he goes in here. Now Richard dives in. Sean gonna come? No, Sean stays out. Not coming in yet. He's got to be getting low on fuel. Richard coming down pit road here. As we have Morgan coming around into the last section. Richard Hibbs stops in his box. Car's off the ground. He's getting some tires. Morgan's coming around. Pretty fast pit time.
Thank you.
He's about a second slower on pit lane time than Morgan. Comes out with a just over second and a half gap, which is quickly closing. So Morgan able to make up some time there in that stop. Where's Sean at? Sean's coming around through the last sector. See if he goes in here. There he goes down pit road. Ooh. Hope we didn't get... I don't see any flags. I don't think he got speeding or anything with that lockup. I was a little worried for him there. So Richard Hibbs, so far, sitting pretty, although Morgan has definitely caught him. Sean should be finishing up. Super fast pit box time. Morgan throwing in a 16.9. Sean coming out right behind him, not making up any spots. And actually, I guess losing out to Morgan there. He had a shorter pit time, but his pit lane time ended up being a second longer than Morgan. We got quite the race for the top three up here. Skyler dropping off about 5 seconds through those pit stops. I'm not sure. Oh, Sean Ryan crashed. You have a lockup? Oh no, was it the grass? Oh, kept it clean through there. That was spooky. Looked like maybe a little bit of damage popped on the front. I don't know. It looked like something changed. I look from a different angle here. I'm not sure. Keeps it clean though. Gets it going again fairly quickly. But Morgan is here fighting Richard for the lead as they catch some lap traffic. Kind of a bad spot to catch lap traffic there when trying to make a pass. But Morgan is there, not letting him go. Morgan putting in faster laps as well the last 2 laps. Are those old used tires somehow faster? I'm not sure what tires Richard got. I don't think you can get all 4 and still get out before you're done fueling. I think you can only get 1 or 2. I'm not sure what he got. Or if there's something else that lifts up the car. I don't like if you do a tear off or something, I don't think the car lifts up, but maybe it does. Morgan's going to try on the outside here. Richard slips on through, keeping that lead. Super close. Morgan's almost pushing him through the corner. Morgan knows if he wants a chance at the championship, he's got to get around Richard. We're down to about 10 minutes left in the race. Richard with the slow lap that lap at a 118. Of course, they are loaded with fuel again. Not fully loaded, but they do have some extra weight, so they are going to slow down a little bit. But I wouldn't think it would be that slow. Just a little further back on the road there, we have, oh, the catch, I think that was Ken Chrisman. Yep, Ken Chrisman going around. Skyler there with Sean. Oh, Morgan going trying on the outside, trying the kind of an over-under here. There's going to be a drag race down this straight. Rich is going to have the inside. This is not where you want to be side by side with somebody. It is scary enough by yourself going down through there. Some great racing going on up here. Richard's going to get the exit. Morgan is definitely there, ready to go. He's got to make it happen soon. He's got some time left, but he's got to find a way around soon. Whoa, big lockup through that corner by somebody. I couldn't tell which car that was coming from. I don't know if Richard is just defending so hard that it's slowing him down that much, running 118s. Keep that up much, and Sean and Skyler are gonna be there before the end of the race if these guys keep battling like this. Sean running a 1:17.15 last lap with it's almost a full second faster than Richard Hibbs, so they would have gained a second that last lap. Richard maybe getting a little more back into the groove there. Morgan really able to close up the gap in that decreasing radius corner. He must know something about the brakes that nobody else knows. There we go. Richard putting in a better time at a 17.65, but Sean Ryan throwing in a 16.982. Now under 4 seconds away, where he was over 5 after coming off the track. Morgan trying that move again for probably the 4th lap in a row. Still not working out. But putting that pressure on. Everybody else is pretty well spread out. This is definitely the closest race we have going on at the moment. We come around to the front straight again. Are we going to see Morgan with the same tactic? I didn't have quite the run to get alongside there. Still just right on his door. On the inside here. It's going to put him in the same spot again. It's just unfortunate for him that it turns back the other way on the next turn, putting him on the outside. Makes it really hard to get around. Richard able to hold a nice lap, or a nice line through there. Once again, Sean and Skyler both putting in faster times than the leader. Sean's under 3 seconds to Morgan. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get there, but if these two keep fighting, it won't be long before Sean's knocking at the door. Coming into a little bit of lap traffic here now. I believe is that Daryl? Yeah, that's Daryl.
Go left, guys.
Giving a call to the leaders to let them know how to get around safely. That's got to be scary, seeing them side by side in your rearview mirror and trying to let them around, taking up a bunch of real estate there. There's Sean looming in the background. Under 2 seconds. He's a second and a half out now. Put in a 16.94 that last lap, which almost a second faster again. Skyler still putting in a faster lap than the leader as well. Looks like Sean is around Daryl. Oh, Morgan goes out wide. I take one glance over, and Morgan's out wide. Sean's going to be all over him now. Richard with the 17.8, and Sean and Skylar both with the 17.16. More lap traffic for the leader. Got a couple cars up there. Oh, somebody up there had a lockup.
Ryan, little help.
They're all grouped up coming through. They're going to be able to get around the lap cars here. Lap cars are racing for position, but so are the leaders. Oh, it's getting a little dicey. He's going to have a lockup, goes out wide, they can get around. This is really shaking up the race. Oh! What happened there?
I hate myself.
Is that just a lockup? Oh, just, I think, too deep maybe? Yeah, Morgan's still here with, I believe, is that Nathan? I think that's Nathan in front of him. They're going to slip on by now. Coming around for the last lap. Last lap, and they're right next to each other. Morgan's got to make it happen if it's going to happen. Big lock up in front of him. Leader's going to get around. Sean's coming back through. Morgan side by side again in that same spot. Let's see if he can keep up the momentum. Morgan with a little bit of a lock up there. Skylar hanging on to that P3 so far. Should pretty well have it as long as he can keep it clean as they come through this last sector here. Morgan's... Oh, somebody's off track. Oh, that's scary. Drag race down the straight. Richard Hibbs is going to have it. Morgan Teggy coming second. Skylar Rabin in third. Sean Ryan in fourth. Wow. What a finish that was.
Woo, that fight at the end. Woo. That was a lot at the end.
Brandon Dooley's going to round out the top five.
Good run, guys.
Thiago holding on to that P6, pushing Mark Rondeau back into seventh as he comes around. Going to be our top finishing amateur. Andrew Storsum comes around here. Let's see, where's he at? Yeah, coming around the last corner. Going to be taking eighth. Coy McGrath. The last little sector here, getting around some traffic. Gonna be taking 9th. And that is everybody finished. All right, for amateurs, looks like we have Mark Rondeau, Nathan, and Ryan Phillips. The leader's coming down. Get a picture of them for our debrief here. There's second. Skylar's going up. All right, that'll work for the pros. Thank you. Watch Mark as he comes down. There's Nathan and Ryan. Almost looked like Mark's car was not really smoke. It looked like dirt coming out there. Kind of weird. Lined up all right? Yeah, that's all right. Oop. That'll work. Thank you, guys. Mark winning the amateur position for the, I believe, the 3rd week in a row. Sending it into the wall. Celebratory smash. Richard Hibbs doing some donuts. Let's, oops, this isn't what I wanted. We'll hide this. Go over here. Pop up our results. And bring some people in for interviews. If anybody comes in, nobody's joined in the Discord yet. I really wouldn't mind if nobody joined, and then I could just go to bed. No, it's not that late here. There they are. Take some time to get out of the car, you know. Got to get all those straps unbuckled and slip out of that interior seat. Got Richard and Morgan so far. Would grab Skylar first. Skylar usually pops in. Guessing we'll probably see him here. For the points, that's going to be bringing Morgan up in the points. I have to work those up tomorrow and see how they line out. I think I'll go ahead and grab Morgan here. Hey, Morgan. Oh, I'm not on the right mic. Uh-oh. Helps if you have the right mic selected. How's it going, Morgan?
Hey. Oh, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, am I in there?
Why is it so quiet?
Fun
So,
move.
yeah, what an ending there. All the lap traffic right at the end. That was pretty wild.
Yes, it was. I mean, his car was so loud that as we were approaching the line, I forgot to shift up one more gear. I didn't realize I was on the limiter.
I kind of
But it
wondered
was
because it
exciting.
looked like you were kind of gaining, and then it seemed like it kind of petered out. So,
Yeah. Also, it doesn't accelerate as fast on the grass.
yeah, that too.
That's a good time, though. John, props to him. He eked out a lot of lap time in a short period of time. I saw he dropped a 16.8 during the race, which is crazy.
Yeah, while you guys were kind of battling up there, Rich, was losing some time, I'm sure, from defending, and there was a couple laps in there where Sean and Skylar both were like almost a second faster a lap on a couple of those laps. They were gaining fast.
Yeah, they were both super quick. Props to Skylar as well. Skylar was on rails today, but yeah, it's a great race. I wish I could have snagged the P1 from him, but I resisted the inner demons to just give him a little bump so I could go by.
We appreciate that.
Hey,
You made up quite a bit of time in that during the pits.
yeah, I didn't take tires. I know Rich took tires, and I just wish I went in the pits a few laps sooner because it took me too long to realize that ultimately I was losing time behind Sean. Looked like I don't know if his tires were unhappy or if he was just pushing a little hard, but the last 5 laps before we hit the pits, his car was moving around a lot and we were kind of slowing down a bit.
Yeah,
but,
he definitely started. I noticed he kind of fell off a little bit right before the pit stops. Yeah, kind of saying. I'm not sure if it was his tires screaming at him or what was going on there.
Yeah, perhaps. This track was really weird, like through the practice session before the race and then the race itself. It would go through phases where it would just grip. Like you could hit the throttle whenever you want and it would grip up, and there were other laps where you just slide everywhere. But that's what makes Barber a ton of fun.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of braking zones coming over crests and lightening the car. And in this car, I'm sure it's definitely an added added difficulty.
Yeah, whoever designed this loved blind crests because there's
Yeah.
a lot of them.
Absolutely. Well, great job taking P2, and we'll see how much you climb up the ranks as one of your drop weeks will come into effect here.
Yes, sir. We'll see what happens. I think Rich has it in the bag because I think my P4, it was P4 P5 at Zandvoort. I don't think Rich has had anything like that. So we'll see how it shakes out. But I'm pretty sure he's got it in the bag.
Yeah, it could be. He's definitely got decent little lead right now. So.
Yeah, but props to Rich. He ran a clean race. He did what he needed to do and took the W on both sessions.
Yep. Well, we'll see you next week.
Hey, yes, sir.
All right, good talking to you.
Yep, later.
Hey, Rich.
Hey, how's it going?
Great race out there. Super just consistent. Hard to beat all night long.
Thanks.
Seems
Was
like that's a reoccurring
battle?
thing for you. As Ben said before I took over the league that I think you were his Mr. Consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. Tonight was good qualifying and heat. Heat was all about pace management and just trying to be fast where I needed to be fast. And I was doing that for the first stint of the feature, and then decided to take a left front at the stop because this track's killing left fronts, and that made a massive amount of understeer that I just couldn't deal with. And then
Oh,
when we
really?
caught
Yeah, I wondered.
tail into the pack, it was even worse because then they would give me aero wash, so I had an
Oh,
understeer and then massive understeer.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because we saw that your car lifted up in the pits, so I knew you were getting some kind of tire or something. And then afterwards, it just seemed like you were way slower than you were before. So we were just kind of like, what happened? But yeah, I guess that seems weird, but kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
I guess.
You would hope it would add grip to the left front and
Yeah.
make it so that it would start working, but nope, it did the opposite. And man, was the understeer so bad.
Huh. That's really interesting. Well, and speaking of interesting, it got kind of dicey there at the end with the lap traffic.
Yeah, and with the understeer, it was not manageable at all. Trying to put Morgan and then Sean where I needed them to be, and then
Uh-huh.
dealing with understeer and traffic, it was almost too much.
Yeah, and still trying to get around it. It looked like the two cars kind of stuck there for a while, but I think they were also battling for position, so that just kind of complicated things even more. And then on the very last lap, was it Jeff? Somebody got loose and slid, and you guys had to drive around that. Oh. Lost him out of the channel. Let's grab Skylar here. Hey, Skylar.
Hello. How's it going, Brian?
Oh, not too bad. Pretty good P3 there. It's really close all race long.
Yeah, just frustrating I missed out on quality. Like I knew going in here there was never going to be an opportunity to pass until like the final lap or two. And I just committed, okay, I'm going to finally have a good quali. I'm going to finally do it. And then I get pipped by a few 100s by Hibbs. And then in the heat, I make a mistake. And then I'm just stuck in the most the most intense train for 25 minutes.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun, but just that car is very good there, but it is constantly fighting to try to get away from you, and every time you're taking one of these fast turns.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I noticed watching some cockpit views during practice and stuff. Was I've raced this track like once before in a skip Barber, and of course those slide a little bit, but those were loose enough. I couldn't imagine them in these cars as hard as they are to be consistent on the brakes and really hold them down.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of tracks with this car. You get really good grip after about 3-4 laps. The tires warm up, you get good grip, but here you're just locking because there's just so much tension on the fronts in all of these really tight, twisty corners. So you start to wear him down, and the thing I tried to gamble on this time was, all right, I'm at the tail of the top four. I get the first option to pit effectively back and see what I can find in terms of gap, and I did it, and I nailed, like, I think the timing window was perfect, but this is the first time in the entire season I have taken tires when I pitted, and I regretted it so much.
Yeah, you
Immediately
were
lost 5 seconds.
I guess it wasn't quite 2 seconds. Pit box time was about 1.5 seconds slower.
Yeah, that would have been okay, but it was just that the fronts were as cold as they had been, and again, having not taken those mid-race yet, it was just this sudden realization of, oh, I was not really prepared to execute the strategy, so
Yeah.
cost me a little bit, but then thanks to the lap traffic, I was able to finally catch back up, and I think Sean tried to make a move that didn't work out, and then he was right alongside me, and that was some of the best racing I've had all season. Just that one turn going down the pseudo corkscrew here.
Yeah.
Too wide down. That was so much fun. So I think at the end I may have braked a little earlier than he expected, and we got a little tap, but the shame. But great race all throughout the top four. We were all within like 1.0, 1.5 seconds for 20 plus laps, for about 20 laps, and that's great racing. I love to see it.
Yeah, it was awesome. How did you or what were you thinking on those last few laps going through the lap traffic? There's quite a bit of lap traffic on those last 2 or 3 laps.
Or towards the back, like either they would spin out of T1, or they would just go wide at the final turn. So I got a little lucky. I never really had to check out much, but I know it was really, really intense for the leaders, and I know we caught a fight from the amateurs in the back when we caught up to them. So it was intense, but it was fun to navigate, and
Yeah, that was.
I got lucky on that one.
That was definitely a little rough with the leaders really fighting coming through, but then also those lap cars were all, side by side fighting for their position too. Just kind of bad timing between both of them.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, I think at that point we had all been saving our energy to try to make those moves in the final laps, and just try to use lap traffic to your advantage at that point. That's the only game you can play at that point when we're all that close.
When you got tires, did you just get like fronts or?
Just took fronts. Because
Okay.
I figured with all the front, and like the fronts when I came in, I were like 78 at the lowest. Which when I saw that, I realized, okay, I've made the wrong choice. I figured, given my heat and practice experience, I figured it was going to be hotter and harder on the tires. So I figured net positive, but it just didn't work this time. So, had to try something different. Can't make your way forward if you just keep doing the same thing.
Rich said he took the, I believe it was the front left.
Makes sense.
And he said it actually caused his car to understeer really bad. He was quite a bit slower after he had pit. And,
and that was definitely my experience. Just having both fronts, it was the same problem.
So the same thing with both? That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. Higher risk of lock as well. Like I definitely locked him a few times coming into the
really
event.
Interesting to me because like the first lap or two, sure, but you would think it would kind of come around after that.
I think it's just with this track specifically, since you're putting so much of the energy into the front, because so many of these are those tight hairpins.
Maybe they just stay hot.
I think that's it. They get hot and they get awkward, and then they just don't take a bit of time to really grip up in the right way. So.
iRacing is a little iffy on the tire heat. I think they're a little aggressive on that.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those things that without that, that element, it adds a little bit of flavor of strategy, and we all have to adjust to it. And that's
definitely did in this race. Well, great race. Taking P3 there. See how the points start to shake up after this week when the drop weeks all come in.
Yeah, I thought like I was saying, this was my real chance to try to pull out that win, because I think at this point I don't have a viable way to beat Hibbs or take it. But if I end up P3 after this, and with the way we've been racing for most of the season, I'll be happy. It's a great time.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you next week for the season finale.
Oh yeah, I'll make all 9. I want to use my drop week strategically here.
All right. Good to hear.
Well, thanks again, Brian. Thanks for everything.
Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah. See you later.
Oh, looks like Richard had a power blip during the interview there. Lucky that the power didn't blip while he was in the middle of the race. So this is our feature results. Let me pop up the points here. Now this is points before the race. Brandon finished 5th in the feature. So Richard is still going to be widening the gap here between first and second. I'm moving my mouse around as if you guys can see it. Skyler was in 3rd, so he's going to gain a little bit on Brandon. He may... I don't remember how the heat ran out. Skyler was in front of him, though. I think Skyler's going to overtake Brandon here. Depending on... We do have a drop week coming in this week, so it kind of depends on the drop week. But Skyler may be overtaking Brandon here to get up into 2nd. And, of course, Morgan finishing 2nd. He's really going to jump up there as he has... he'll have a 0 for a race drop-off. Sean as well, taking 4th. He'll have a 0 drop-off for a race he missed and be popping up there as well. I don't think they're going to have enough to get into the top 3 Or even they might not get. No, they'll get top 5 because Richard Wishown wasn't here tonight. Well, Zero drops off though. I think they will. Anyways, they'll be getting up there in that kind of top 5 range, and then the season finale, which is next week at Road Atlanta. Great track for a finale. It's the finale track for IMSA. Best track ever made. Best road course ever made. I'll stand by that for as long as I live. Unless some other track gets built, which we all know won't happen because nobody has the money to build tracks these days. Yeah, we'll see how it all shakes down next week. For the amateurs, Mark Rondeau winning again. Just going to be widening that gap. Nathan, let's see. Yeah, Nathan was second. Ryan Phillips was third. Ryan Phillips is second on the leaderboard. So Ryan's going to be looking pretty good. Mark's going to run away from him, but Ryan's still going to be looking pretty good. Nathan will probably be moving up a little bit there. We'll see who all has weeks that drop off and what happens there. But I think that's going to do it for us here this week. As I said, next week, Road Atlanta. Best track ever made. Should be a great race. As pretty much all these races have been. They've been awesome this season. And go back to the race info here real quick. Tomorrow, Six Sigma Oval League. Trucks are going to be at Dover. Check that out on Turbo's YouTube channel there. youtube.com/@TurboBull1778. We'll see you next time.